to infinity and beyond.
What's up, everyone? It's Roger and James here from DisKingdom.com with Infinity and Beyond, your weekly Disney video game podcast. And on this week's show, we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 2.8. We're going to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront Death Star. We're also going to be talking about all of the other news this week, including Marvel, Women of Power Pinball, and a whole host of other bits and pieces. So, James, had a good week?
Yeah, it's been a good week. Busy, a lot of games coming out. Not just Disney, but been a good week. How about over on your end? I know you had some stuff to do.
Yeah, it's been good. I headed up to EGX on Thursday, played a ton of games. So it's been quite cool. I've been looking forward to that event for years. It's my first big video game conference I've been to, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm set now for next year. That's good. I'm sold. It was pretty busy. Big long queues. I think by the time in the afternoon rolled around, you were talking 2-hour queues for some of the big games like Call of Duty and, I wanted to play South Park, but that was a 2-hour queue, and I got to the point of no, I'm not quite willing to wait that long. Probably got to play probably about a dozen or so games. Got to try out PlayStation VR, which, gotta be honest, I was disappointed with, because basically I had to play the entire game looking like this and looking like a pirate, because it got blurry in one eye, and I could, no matter what I set it could not get unblurred. And it was great fun. I mean, you were there. I did the truck where you were like a gangster and you were having to use a machine gun and shoot them, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm going to be honest, it was really good fun. But because I had to play the whole thing like this, it was like this kind of thing of, I now have to try it out again to see if it does it the same. I'm not pre-ordering it now. That's kind of actually stopped me now going ahead. I now need to try it either in store or wait till I see it again, because I can't risk spending that much money on something that I can't see.
Yeah, exactly. When I tried it out, I remember I think they had to lower the goggles on my face farther.
Yeah.
It was really blurry and they couldn't figure out why, and then it was sitting too high on my face. So it seems like it's not quite pick up and play friendly, which is kind of unfortunate.
We kind of had a bit of a play set. I think it was the fact that it was working on one eye and it was kind of going, pressing the button to go forward and backwards. So I'm going to be honest, it was great fun. And all the games that they were showing there that look PR, they do look fun. But I'm going to be honest, my money I've saved for it is now going in the pot. And I'm waiting for a little announcement from Nintendo now to spend that on instead, because I'm not buying the PS4 Pro. I don't see the point in that. I'd rather spend the money on a HD TV 4K than,
right.
So it's just at the minute, it's nope, that's just, I'm not quite sold on that one. But the main game that I went for, the minute I opened the door, and so pretty much sort of what went straight to, was Kingdom Hearts 2.8. They had demo booth in the Square Enix booth. They had 4 stations set up. When I got there in the morning, they had 2 for 0.2 and 2 for Dream Drop Distance. I sat down and kind of went, and someone was playing Dream Drop Distance, and I went to the bloke, well, can I play 0.2? And so he flipped it over for me. Well, let's just say every time I walked past the booth, I think they'd all got set to 0.2, and nobody was playing Dream Drop Distance within the first 5-10 minutes of that booth opening, because everyone would have played 0.2. I had planned on going back and playing Dream Drop Distance later in the day, but every time I went by they had the 0.2 running, but more importantly, the queue just seemed to be getting bigger and bigger. It was and also it's quite a long demo. It's about a 20-minute demo. So sitting there going, right, there's 25-30 people in front of me. This is going to take some time to do. Played it. I loved it. It looked beautiful. The effects look great. I don't know if it's just because I've just gone from Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 0.2. Not only have the graphics jumped up, the effects, the moves, everything just seemed to have just all the buttons were the same as what I've been playing with. I'm really glad I've been playing one where I knew all the moves. But man, I was totally blown away. It looks gorgeous. It plays amazing. The combat is so much more improved. I went through the whole level of the whole thing, beat the boss, and got to the end. And I'm sold. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait for this now. I'm set. That was quite a kind of this is good. This is I'm kind of, and there was, like I said, it was a lot of stuff going on there. Square Enix had quite a bit of stuff there. We had like a Hitman area, a Rise of the Tomb Raider 20th anniversary one. Didn't do the Hitman one because I've already got the game and there wasn't anything new there. Played Tomb Raider, that was great. That's gone on my Christmas list. I also played Final Fantasy 15, which was the first time I've ever played a Final Fantasy game. They had these huge, great big birds walking around. That were pretty fun. Because this is the thing coming into Kingdom Hearts. I'm not really too familiar with how it connects up with Final Fantasy, so I'm not sure how many of the characters are in it. I could tell by the moves and stuff with like when I was fighting these great big like dinosaurs and stuff in a desert. So that I was looking at this going, this isn't. I can see why now they maybe had to move 2.0 back a little bit, because that sort of the fighting combat is pretty similar. But I did prefer 0.2. It seemed to be a bit faster, and that you weren't just running around a desert looking for someone to hit.
That's certainly a problem with a lot of open world games, and I guess Final Fantasy 15 maybe still has to work on that a little bit, but they don't have much time left. So
no, the booth there was big, but they were loading up like they had about 30 to 40 stations, and then you had a half an hour demo of that one. So when they did empty the booth out, it really did kind of the queue just moved forward. When you sort of seen people sitting around with there was these few guys walking around with like chairs, basically like I'm sat in now, and I'm thinking that would have been a smart idea. Definitely Kingdom Hearts 2.0.2 was a highlight. I'm glad I got there first and really kind of was able to sit there and enjoy it, because I think everyone was running off and doing all the big games that they wanted to, and that was the main game I wanted to do. So that was the reason I was there. That was the reason I got the ticket. So that was good. But 0.2, really can't say enough of how much I enjoyed playing that game, and I am super excited to play that one.
Super. It's one of those things like I want to play it, and I'm looking forward to them hopefully announcing 1.5 or 1.6 or whatever for the PS4. But you mentioned how much of a jump it is. Even the remasters aren't that recent anymore, and even then they were just visual upgrades, just kind of textures and whatnot. The original Kingdom Hearts is now what, a decade or more? 14 years old.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've got Kingdom Hearts. Was it 3.28 days? Literally loaded it into my DS. That's my I'm planning on literally playing that on my upcoming flight, because I've looked at the movies that are coming on, and it's Deadpool, Man of Steel, and someone else. I'm going, well, I've already seen them. So I'm planning on hitting up some Kingdom Hearts on the DS. Well, I did want to play Dream Drop Distance, because I thought, well, might as well hold off till January for that one now. But no, really good. Lots of fun doing it. Also played Lego Dimensions at the event. Played the new Mission Impossible pack. So that was a lot of fun. Also played as one of the new Gremlins. They did have the Ghostbusters story on there as well, which was fun. So yeah, no, definitely that was a very busy booth. They had about 8 stations. They were on the PlayStation one. That was working out quite well. Kind of funny, to be honest. They had Skylanders just behind it in the PlayStation booth as well. And literally, I walked up, sat down, played it, got up, left. Every time I walked past the booth, there was an empty. Empty. Let's just say there didn't seem to be any excitement around Skylanders. I don't think even the PlayStation's crew that were working on the there was nobody like at Lego Dimensions. They had like literally one person per table, per booth, like helping you and like talking to you and trying to sell it to you. Skylanders I never even got approached while I went there, and it was just like. And there's a big poster up behind, but you could definitely sense, and even in the big brochure, there was this big thing about Lego Dimensions. Get it on Amazon Prime; it will be at the event within an hour, and they had all these posters up. It definitely felt like it was Lego Dimensions had grabbed that bit. I grabbed it for the Toys of Life. That's just the way it looked.
Well, I mean, Lego Dimensions has all the franchises now. They've got all the '80s franchises coming with Wave 2. They've got Harry Potter and Mission Impossible, and Ghostbusters and all these guys. So yeah, why play with Skylanders, which is now into its 6th game, and very little incentive to play with the previous characters that you have. I can totally understand why Lego Dimensions would be dominating the show. Plus, there's all the rumors that we've talked about that they're courting Disney, and we could see some Star Wars popping in there at some point. All rumors, but. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be some talk about it at official channels.
Yeah, well, I know Arthur's been off doing a lot of presentations and stuff in San Francisco earlier this week. And one of the things I did pick up on an interview was that of them working with Disney and Marvel on their franchises, on those ones. But what was interesting was the guys that have been working on Lego Force Awakens jumped over to do the Lego Batman story pack that's coming out in January. So their 2 teams are now both working on Dimensions, and obviously they didn't mention if their teams are working on anything Marvel or Star Wars, but I did feel like that was kind of an odd thing to be sort of saying about even saying that their team were they're all in on Lego Dimensions. They literally put, I think every one of their 2 teams are now working on that game.
It must be making money despite how many packs I see on the wall every time I go to a Target or a Best Buy or whatever. I did see an A-Team pack on the wall at Target earlier today or yesterday. Now I didn't bother getting it. I know the tricks for how to get around the register locks at Target, but it's not one of the ones I'm too interested in. I know that you're
I was a big A-Team fan growing up as a kid. I used to have the truck and everything. So, but I haven't pre-ordered them because I'm away when they come out, so it wasn't a lot of point. But I did find a sale last night on 2 for 1 on the level pack, so I was like, sorry, 3 for 2. So I'm like, right. I did find the Ninjago and the Chingo one or whatever it was for £5.44 each on Amazon last night. So I've ordered one of each just literally to get into the adventure world. I thought, that's a bargain. I don't mind paying £5.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. Last time around, they had, the Lego franchises, Chima and Ninjago, and this time around, it's got all the legacy, the nostalgia ones that they're going to get for.
Right, so that was EGX. Also got to play Sonic Mania, which I'm really excited about. That's like literally a proper Sonic game. That's like a game that I just grew up on. Was Sonic just a normal Sonic the Hedgehog, the way he should be and it was fantastic. I will be picking that one up. What else? I played Outlast 2, which I was completely sucked at and didn't like that. Played some Uncharted 4.
What game was that?
Outlast 2.
I've never even heard of Outlast.
Oh, it's literally like you can't fight. You've got to run from these people and hide. Yeah, I died about
whatever.
But yeah, there wasn't really too much. So it was. I think it was just because it was. And I was at Ukulele. Now this is one that seems to be picking up a lot of steam lately. Some people are calling it like a Banjo Kazooie kind of free retro. It's really weird. They're saying a nostalgic kind of. I'm still looking at going, this isn't platforming nostalgia. This is like 3D. This is still new.
Yeah.
Played that one. Loved it. If you like Skylanders, that's actually, to be honest, I think that's going to be a better option. I think that's going to be I think they're going to be, I think this is going to be a big, strong family game hit. I can see it now.
It's certainly cheaper than Skylanders since you only have to buy it the one time and you get everything you need to play, presumably. Yeah. I've only recently become aware of it, but it does look interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say it was the first time playable at EGX, so that was kind of why we've only just started to see sort of people talking about it, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? This current console generation, this current PC generation, we need some new IPs generated, so hopefully it does well. Yeah,
it was a popular booth, lots of people playing it, lots of people talking good about it. So if you're into like games like that, that's going to be a good alternative. And I actually think if you're into like your Disney Infinity playsets, that's kind of like closest kind of maybe like new kids, not maybe the kids, but family game. So that was good. And I also played WWE 2K17, and I think that like kind of wrapped me up. I didn't go and do any of the big shooting, the Destinies and the Titanfalls. They were all like 2-3 hour waits. And it's like Overwatch was there, and I'm going, well, I just spent the whole weekend demoing that one. I didn't really see the point.
I mean, is there even anything new coming to Overwatch yet that we know about? I'm sure they're working on stuff, but have they announced anything?
I don't think so. But Okay, so now we're going to move over to Star Wars Battlefront, which launched its Death Star expansion pack this week. It's out now for season pass holders, and it'll be available in probably just over a week now for everybody else. This pack added a host of new characters. You got Chewbacca and Boosk as playable characters. You also got a whole new fighter squadron in space, which kind of is very different than what they've done before. They've also added some new Death Star sort of maps. I think there's about four or five maps. Also, the droid one, it seems, I don't know if they've upgraded that one or not. I don't remember playing that one quite as much as I have recently. But in general, have you actually got a chance to play this one this week?
I don't have the season pass, so I don't have the Death Star. So I haven't gotten to play it. I have watched some videos. I've read about it. It does look like it's, a nice addition to it.
Yeah.
Can't argue with more maps, and can't argue with bringing spaceships back into it in a more important context. But I'll say the same thing I said last week, which is I wish they had added some new ships into the mix as well.
Yeah, they've added, I think, a B-Wing and a TIE Interceptor or some kind
of... TIE Advance, maybe?
Yeah. One thing, the season pass, I think, is currently on sale. Though, to be honest, I mean, you would get... It's probably, if you're going to get more than 2 expansion packs, it's probably better to get this things, especially on the sale. Also, you've only really got Rogue One left in the season pass, so you're not really, but you will get all 4 of them. So I've been playing that quite a bit this week. I'm going to be honest, I've been loving the Fighter Squadron things, because they've kind of mixed it up a little bit. They've added, obviously you're in space, and you've got the Death Star, and you've got all the rubble and stuff around it, and you either got to attack Death Star, so you've got to take out the TIE fighters, and then you go after these 3 main bits on the ship. And if you're fighting from the other side, you've got to basically take out the Y wings, and you've got to take out their ship. So that's kind of the general gist of the story. I've been loving it. I think it's a lot more fun for me than playing the previous fighter squadrons, because I think you've got that mission aspect of you defeat everyone, and then you got to go after the ship. So you've kind of got it's a bit like that thing of, when you're going to take out the AT-ATs, you've kind of got a target, something else, rather than just chasing people around shooting at them. So that's been a lot of fun. Also, just in general, I think the graphics, and when you sort of zoom in and you're flying around on that one is a lot of fun. So you're going to be playing that a lot on the playlist, because at the minute the best way of playing is literally just to jump onto the playlist. That seems to be the only way you can play it at the minute, and then it just jumps from one to the other, so you don't really get any choice of what you want to play and how you want to play it. That usually tends to come in once they upgrade it to everybody else. They kind of have this like big upgrade, so I can't like choose what I want to do at the minute, because I want to do like heroes versus villains, so I can pick the characters, but you can't seem to do that the first 2 weeks when you got the season pass. So that's been a lot of fun, but they've added this new aspect where you can do it in 3 stages, and so you finish one stage, and if you victory, you then go on to the next stage, where you then maybe doing like a trench run if you're on the rebel side, and you've got to blow up the hole, or you've got, if you're Imperial, you've got to do a droid run where you land on the ship, and you've got to stop them from getting a droid onto the ship with the Death Star plans or something like that. I don't think it's quite the Death Star plans, but in general, there's kind of a little bit more of a story where there's 3 aspects to it, and you've got to go through each one. And if you get defeated, you get rebooted. If not, you go through it. I think this has been a great addition, because it kind of adds a little bit of like a story mode, and I think, but obviously by the time you do the 2-3 things, it's about 20-30 minutes, so that's kind of quite cool. I thought it was a good update. I've enjoyed it. I thought the space stuff was fun. It seemed a lot more fun than the B-spin or bi-spin flying around the city. It was a lot more fun than that. And generally, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. But it's definitely much more the space combat. That seems to be what's really been upgraded. Like I said, I haven't really got to play the characters very much, because not really seen hero versus, like I said, you just can't seem to get into all the modes, which will probably be available, like I said, once the full upgrade is available to everyone. They tend to bring in all the options on the menus and stuff. At the minute, like I said, you just only seem to be able to go to the playlist. But the only good thing is it does speed the game up. And maybe they do that. I think they've done that on a reason, because it means that all the season pass holders are all playing playing together. So if there's not as many of us, maybe they can because loading's so much faster because it seems to be full all the time. Because the minute you click on it to join, it's instantly a full game, which I think that is helping having that playlist, rather than maybe if you're picking which ones you're waiting all the time. The load times are pretty good on it. So no, I loved it. I definitely feel like I've got value out of the season pass, but yeah, it's still a little bit pricey.
It's very pricey, and it's one of those things where you can argue back and forth about, how much of what is in the season pass should have been in the game in the first place, especially when you've got the original Battlefront and Battlefront 2 to compare it against. But I mean, ultimately, as long as the game is fun and as long as they're adding new stuff to it, hard to complain, especially if it sounds like they're adding stuff like this Death Star mission.
Yeah.
And obviously we have no idea what to expect from Rogue One yet. So
no. I'm going to be honest, I think the trouble is, and this is the same, we've been saying this for a while, and the trouble is with video game prices is they haven't gone up over the years, and this season pass system is the way of boosting up the prices. And had this just been $100 game to begin with, an outright cost, everyone would have gone for the roof over it. But then you wouldn't have had all the season pass stuff, and it's unfortunately we've all gone down this line where everyone wants everything cheaper. Well, they are giving it to you cheaper, but it's the same thing I do at work, and the same thing the budget airlines do, and all the rest of it. You up. If you want the basic package, there's a basic package for this price, and then you can get all your extras on top. And that's just the way a lot of stuff is now. You want your hot chocolate, and you want your marshmallows, and you want your flake, and you want your cream. You've got to pay for each one on top.
Yep. It's what's been adopted by mobile games, and we're kind of getting more and more used to it as well. Like a lot of the good mobile games have it set up, or well, maybe not good so much as popular and profitable, are the ones where you have content for the people who just want the free game, and then another layer of content for people who are willing to pay, and then another layer of content for the people who are willing to just pay more than I make in a year on decorations or whatever. Yeah. So
I was watching quite a fun video yesterday with Cynical Gamer and the Gamer Joint, who plays a lot of Kingdom Hearts stuff, and he said he's doing the most stupid video. He literally spent $150 on Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key stuff, and literally was just swearing the whole time he was opening stuff up because he's going because it was just like, what is all this rubbish? So that was fun watching. But speaking of mobile games, I think we might as well jump into the next kind of the big Star Wars news of the week. Kabam announced that they're shutting down Star Wars Uprising. I'm just going to bring out a little bit of the details for me to read off. On November the 17th, 2016, all the Uprising servers will be shut down permanently. As part of this, all payments were shut down as of September 22nd. They said that basically it was enjoyed by the community of players since launch, but the game is no longer achieving the level of success needed to maintain the game, and the decision was made to just cut support. Like I said, it'll be available till 9 AM November the 17th, and they said that they can't leave it up and running because it needs support, and they want to send that resources to building and supporting existing titles and new titles. And the only way to save any of your data is to basically take a screenshot. That's basically what they've said. And they just said, if you like playing Star Wars Uprising, they invite you to play one of their other games. That was it. Yeah, it was. What did you think of this?
To be honest, Uprising is one of the mobile games that kind of got shuffled into the background. I don't think they've even released a proper update for it in a year or more. Not like, say, Galaxy at War or something like that, where they seem to be updating every month or every other month. I think they released it, and then it just kind of twisted in the wind for a while.
Yeah.
Now, from what I remember, it was actually a pretty decent game, but there was kind of a question of where it sat in the lineup. So.
Yeah, I think I played it a couple of times when it came out. Wasn't that impressed with it. I think the big problem, first off, is I don't think it had the name recognition. I think it was trying to do that kind of Knights of the Old Republic kind of thing, of lots of their own original content that was supposed to take place, but to tell the story between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. Well, once Force Awakens came out, no one really wanted to know that, and I think not having those big characters in there was probably why it wasn't connecting. I think EA, with their licensing deal, because they obviously launched Battlefront and the Galaxy of Heroes app as well. Personally, I think it wasn't taking enough money. I think the mobile market is going through a little bit of a shuffle at the minute in terms of what's making money and what isn't, and games are falling off the wagon very, very quickly. But we're going to be doing an episode in, well, your guys will hear it, I'll see it in a couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about how the impact of all these games closing will affect what it's doing to people, because, like I said, I'm going to be sat on a beach, but when actually that one's going. So we're going to be recording that one after this one. So that one should be, so we're going to go into a little bit more detail on that episode. But I'm going to be honest, I wasn't entirely surprised, because I feel this game was kind of in the end of its thing, of it just not seemed to be getting any updates. It didn't seem to be getting any attention. I think EA stuff is doing it instead. And I can't help but feel, in general, that these mobile games, they've been put a lot of emphasis on pushing them, and I do wonder now if they're starting to realise there's maybe not quite as much money in, they have a massive hit or they have a non-massive hit, and there's a big difference in trying to keep the two going. But it also shows what goes wrong when they turn off servers and the game is no longer playable.
Yeah, and they've got so many mobile titles that have Star Wars attached to the name that if you want to be the fan, if you want to be playing all the Star Wars titles, at some point you just got to go, there's too many. And, you're going to stop playing several, or you'll stop playing them daily, or, whatever. And I think Uprising is really going to be the first one to get knocked off of most people's list, simply because it doesn't have the content updates, and it doesn't really have any media push. Other than this, them announcing its cancellation. When was the last time you heard about Uprising? When was the last time we talked about it? You and I have never talked about it. I think you talked about it with Abe.
I know, in all honesty, I don't actually remember doing. I've barely done one or two stories all year on it. That's why I wasn't surprised when it came in, because I'm like, I've heard and hearing nothing. Not like Marvel Heroes, where I'm hearing stuff weekly or every other week. No, it's, even Galaxy of Heroes, I keep seeing on the tweets coming up saying character coming, this character's coming, this character's coming. I don't tend to report on it because it seems to be so quickly coming in.
Right.
But yeah, I know what you mean. There's just hasn't been a lot of announcement on it. However, if you are going to be lost from the game and you need a replacement for it, Disney have got you covered. They've got a brand new game out which will really cover Disney Princess Charms. What was it? Disney Princess Charmed Adventures have launched this week. It's an amazing game. It's battling mode between. No, it's not that. It's collecting Pandora charms, basically.
Bracelets.
I did do a Let's Play video that went up yesterday. Let's say I've downloaded, I've installed it, I did a video, and then I uninstalled it because I'm not the target audience. I think the target audience is 6 to 8 year old girls. The story bases around you can play as Princess and the Frog, Rapunzel for Tangled, Little Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast. And basically you got to do a lot of little tasks of clicking on items, find Pascal, all these kind of things. Did you get a chance to play this game?
No, but I did watch you play it. I did watch your video. I knew from the description right away that there was no need to play this game as an adult male. And, this seems to be kind of the thing at the moment. We had Enchanted Tales a couple weeks ago, and we've got this. And obviously we're not the target market. But, you know what? I think there are plenty of parents who will download this for their kids. And maybe if their kids, as an allowance or a weekly, you did your chores kind of thing, they might let them buy one or two in-app purchases for a couple bucks, and Disney will make their money. Yeah. And then it'll be, it'll just be left alone and quietly forgotten about.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I thought the pay structure for this one seemed a bit odd, because you have to buy each story, because you only get Tangled for free. The other ones you've got to pay for, and you can buy the full pack, I think, for about £11. I was like going, this is an expensive kids game. I can't help but feel like this should have been maybe a premium product. Maybe that it was like $3.99 and you got everything unlocked. That might have been a better option than the way they seem to have done it. Whether or not, because it wouldn't surprise me if they start adding other princesses to this game if it proves successful. Can't help but feel like this, like releasing this one and the other one so close together. I mean, they're very, very different kind of games. That's the only. But Disney just seem to be chucking these out and hoping that they hit the hit. They don't seem to be any like real money being spent on like promotion of these things.
No, there's almost no promotion for any of these coming out, and there doesn't really have to be. I was thinking about this earlier. You know, you just stick the Disney name on it, and as long as Disney is in the title, it'll pop up when you search for Disney apps. But yeah, I mean, but where would you advertise something like this? Because you advertise it on IGN, and everyone's just going to click onto the next page because they're not 6-year-old girls.
No. But they don't even have to, it's like, they could have, popped up on, like, Disney Park Vlog. I mean, primarily, obviously, like, with what we do, we tell you about all the news, so we are a source of getting that information out, and, so that's one way of doing it. Like I said, it's a good kids game. Try it out for free if you like it. But yeah, it should keep you running if you've missed Star Wars Uprising. It's very, very similar. Okay,
Not
so
even a little.
This week we got another fun game coming this week. Marvel's Women of Power is coming to the sort of the Pinball platform, which is Marvel Pinball, Zen Pinball 2, FX Pinball 2. I really wish they'd merge their brands into one game. It would be a little bit easier. It's
a little bit too late now, but yes.
Yeah. That's just my only. In all honesty, I love these games. I think they're fantastic. I really enjoy playing them. It'll be coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Steam. It's also coming to Xbox 360, PS3, PS Vita, Android, Mac, iOS, and Amazon. So that'll be out tomorrow, September the 27th. If you like your pinball games, that's great. You get the 2 tables. There's one with Black Widow, and there's another one with Miss Marvel. I like the fact that you got 2, so that's good. Like I said, it's on every single platform. If you like it on the PlayStation, if you get it on the PlayStation 4, I think it is actually cross-play with the PS3 and also cross-play with the Vita. And I'm going to be honest, that's where I've really enjoyed it. I'm really hoping that it comes out tomorrow morning and I got it in time because I've got to leave. So whether or not I play this on my vacation on the Vita is very much depending on how quickly the PS Store uploads and whether or not I can play it. So it might be a couple of weeks before you guys see any gameplay because it's dropping just as I'm about to leave. But no, I'm looking forward to this. I think this is great. I love the fact that they're pushing the Woman of Power. Are you gonna have a look at this one? Have you played any before?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it. I don't know if I'll play it right away, but it will definitely be played at some point. I've played most of the pinball. The Zen Pinball, Pinball FX, what do you want to call it? Tables, regardless of whether they're Marvel, Star Wars, or Excalibur or whatever. They've got all the tables from everything. It really is a great way to just play a game of pinball. There's a great mix, of that feel of you actually playing a pinball game, but then they throw in like these tiny little things that you couldn't actually have on a physical pinball table. So,
and I'm better at it on the console than I am in real life anyway. It's just odd.
I am too.
It's like at EGX, they had like a load of the old ones in the corner that were on the retro area, and I was like, no, I'm just used to playing it online. I think as well, like the gameplay style is that thing of. It's completely different. It's unique from anything else. It's not like a platform, and it is for me. It's that kind of game that I like to play. Sometimes, like if maybe I finished a story on a big game, and I'm like, right, well, I've got like 20 minutes or so before going to work, or maybe even I've only got 20-30 minutes maybe before going to bed. I go to work, and that's when I will load these up and play them for a bit because they're kind of disposable, kind of you don't need to invest time, and you're not waiting for the save point, because sometimes that's. Nothing worse than literally you want to finish and go, but you've got to find the save point or find at least with these you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I've been having that problem in the Dragon Quest VII on my DS right now, where it's like, I can only save at the priest. Fortunately, you can just close it and put it in sleep mode, but still, it's kind of like, if I run out of battery, I'm screwed. But
yes, yeah. So that's this week's kind of big release. Really, is going to be the Marvel pinball game. So I'll be probably talking about that in a few more weeks when I'm back on that one there. Let's have a look, see what else we had on our list today. Quake and Ghost Rider are now playable, or not playable. They are team ups in Marvel Heroes. I believe the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Event has started.
Yeah.
Though, damn E4, we're not getting the new TV series until January because you guys all have these like mid-season breaks all the time.
Right. Yes.
They want to show them in one continuous loop. We'll probably catch up at the end, but I've got to wait till January for the TV series, so I'm not that impressed.
in fairness, at least for the Marvel movies, you guys do seem to get those a week or two before us over here, so we kind of trade off.
Yeah, we're getting Doctor Strange like a week or two before you, and we get like the 25th of October, but then Moana's a week later. So
yeah, it's all crazy.
So have you got the chance to play this one?
I played it a little bit. I played just enough to sign up to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and then I accidentally became a Hydra agent without realizing it, so I started getting Hydra points, and I was like, I don't want to be Hydra. I'm not a bad guy that you know about anyway. Yeah. And so I went back and I signed up for S.H.I.E.L.D. and went out, killed some guys, got some intel. I haven't actually done much more than that. Quake and Ghost Rider are not included in the advance pack the way some of the other team-ups are, and I didn't feel like paying for them since I've already got so many team-ups, so I don't have them. That said, I wouldn't mind getting Quake at some point. I'm a big fan of her character, so...
Yeah, I haven't played it. It's just been one of them things this week of just not quite having enough time to do with it. I've been mainly playing Amazing Spider-Man 2 on the PS4. I got that in the PlayStation sale a few weeks ago. I'm going to be honest, I've been really enjoying it. It's got nothing to do with the movie. It's got nothing to do with it.
Which is probably an advantage for it.
I'm facing off against like Kingpin and stuff, and I'm just really enjoying playing that at the minute. I kind of came out of nowhere. So I've been enjoying that one. But yeah, I'm going to be honest, team-ups don't really do a lot for me. It's a nice little bonus. I think adding Quake as a playable character would have been a little bit, or giving the costume change for Robbie to the Ghost Rider would have been maybe a different way of doing it. I like the fact that they are doing this event tie-over and stuff. But no, it's cool. It's good that they keep adding stuff to it. I like the fact that they are adding content. You're obviously going to have the Luke Cage event starting up probably is it next week? I think it is.
I would imagine so, since the show starts in 4 days and ends in 4 days. So I'd imagine that, Luke Cage has got to be coming up here soon. I would imagine that they're going to make the Ghost Rider a costume at some point. They've got the model. Yeah. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do it. Quake might be a different matter. I don't think she's popular enough as a Marvel character in general to make
I think in general, I think it's good for them to try and push her because she's a strong female. I think that's an important thing for them to be doing right now, and they've got a lot to catch up on because while some people might argue that they're pushing them too strong and they're pushed almost like, well, they have to because they've been way behind the times for way too long. They have to do it for the long term effect of it. They might feel like it, but I think adding them to games and stuff is a great way of like getting you familiar with it. I know like that with like Black Panther for me has been kind of that thing of seeing him in games and seeing some of these characters like Captain Marvel. I'm familiar with her and know about her even though I've not read any of the comics, so when things like that, it is working.
Right. And then of course Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has kind of been the stepchild that nobody at Marvel talks about these days, because they kind of, it doesn't have the popularity of the Netflix shows. It doesn't have the popularity of the movies at this point. It had kind of a slow start back in season 1, and it's kind of lived with that reputation since. So, yeah, any publicity it can get is was definitely a good thing, especially since season 3 was really good, and now we've
Yeah,
got
it
Ghost
was.
Rider in the show. So
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to season 4 because I thought season 3 was a real up thing. I think all the Inhumans made a lot more. I think the trouble was with season 1, they didn't have anyone with superpowers, which was always the big problem with it.
Right.
The only problem I have with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is it always feels like we're on this story, and we've got this story going, and we've got this story. Something happens in a movie, and the entire thing switches overnight, and they're going, you haven't explained it. If you haven't seen the movie, it didn't make any sense.
The one time they got away with it was, of course, the really big one in season 1 when they went with the Hydra switch, and that was such a great twist. But then, Thor, they're just like, we're gonna pop over here, we're gonna be in London for a little bit cleaning up, and then not gonna talk about it again. So
Suddenly go, what happened in Sokovia?
I don't know what did happen in Sokovia. I don't know. Wink, wink. Go to the movies. What they really should do in comic books, at least back in the day, was if you had something like Spider-Man would swing into Daredevil's book and be like, and he'd have some internal monologue going like, "Oh my, I just fought the Hobgoblin, but now I'm over here and I'm doing okay." And then you'll see a little thing in the bottom right corner like, "To see the fight with Hobgoblin, go check out Amazing Fight." I want to see that pop up on the screen sometime. To see Sif, go watch Thor.
Or even that kind of thing, like when they're filming the movies, like you let them film like 2-3 minutes of something on set or something while they're there. But I think that would take a lot more organization from their point. But no, I'm really hoping like this kind of the thing where I think Ghost Rider, even not seeing it yet, kind of has a feeling that it's going to be that fallout from Civil War, then trying to register people, and I think that's kind of where they're heading. Right, so other bits and pieces this week. A couple more things before we end up with the one. Quick story I did just before last night. Disney are releasing a twin pack for the 3DS, 2DS, featuring Frozen, Olaf's Quest, and Big Heroes Battle of the Bay. Pretty good price. I think about $30 in the US, about £17-18 over here in the UK. Really wish that had been out this week when I could have brought it and got Olaf's Quest on the DS, but that pricing's pretty good. I think it's a good idea. Essentially, make the most of it. You've got 2 games, 2 big things. Do it as a budget title ahead of Christmas. The 3DS is going to be dead by the next Christmas, so get it while you can. It's like
there's no reason for them not to be repackaging games like this, and I've played neither of them. I won't get it at $30 probably, but this will almost certainly be on sale around Christmas time for half that. So I might grab it just as an impulse.
Yeah, I must be honest. I think because I've got the 2DS version of Olaf Quest, I got it with my DS. I got off eBay. It's a bit like it's less inclined for me to get it, but I'm just got that fingers crossed for backwards compatibility with the NX for the 3DS, because that's what I'm like. That would be great. Then I can go back and play all these ones on the screen and do some recordings, and that's why I don't think it's going to be Wii U backwards compatible, but I think DS. I think if it's got discs cartridges, I'm really hoping we get some news on this. I
mean, when you get down to it, yes, the Wii U had a couple of like major titles involved with it, and Wii had a couple major titles involved with it. But when you get down to it, the 3DS has an amazing library of titles. Across the board, you've got JRPGs, you've got Mario games, you've got Zelda games, you've got classic Zelda games, you've got throwback games. If I had to pick between the Wii library, or the Wii and the Wii U library, and 3DS, I would do the 3DS every single day.
You get the DS as well, so you're going back generations and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, literally, if they launch the NX with backwards compatibility, they're bringing in hundreds, if not thousands, of games into their game library instantly. And yeah, I still think it's a very high possibility for that one. So that one's coming out end of October. And then final one, Peter Pan figure for Disney Infinity popped up on like Twitter and all the rest of it. Someone had the figure. Some people weren't too sure if it was just a 3D printout. The image was a bit fuzzy. Hasn't yet been confirmed. It's been a bit of a. Have you kept up with this one? It was a bit odd.
I kept up with it for a bit, long enough to confirm that some artists, some people, some actual Avalanche creators came out and said, "Oh yeah, this is in fact legit." And some of the reasons of why it was legit and why a whole bunch of these were destroyed and whatnot back in the creation period. But after that, I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. So
it's a bit of an odd one. I'm going to be honest. I think having seen I think the fact that they were that close, but obviously they were in like demonstrate where they would have been not far off of it. It was a little bit like it would have been nice, but yeah, I'm kind of. It's like I think that we're gonna have a few more reviews when Rogue One gets a bit closer. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm kind of at the point now with the game where I'm looking at these 3 boxes of stuff I've got in the corner, and I'm just like, they're gonna end up going into storage in here because I haven't played the game since June. I've got no. It's like a real bad thing, and we'll talk about this on our next podcast in a couple of weeks for you guys listening. I don't know. It's just hard to I just can't quite get the thing. Like, I don't really want to play it. I played it for 3 years straight. I want to play something else.
That, and there's that knowledge that soon enough it's not even going to work at all, except for the stuff that you've already downloaded. And I just can't muster up the energy to even load up, like, say, the Twilight of the Republic playset and throw those characters on there. It's just, I've played through it. I'm done. I'm good. Yeah,
I will go back and play it. But I definitely, I think my problem was, I think I overplayed it. And I think that's what my problem was. I think I overplayed it for 3 years. I think especially 2.0 for me. I think the toy box building part of it and doing all the, I think I overplayed it, and I think that's where my kind of feelings right now of, and you can see it. I think with the toy box artists where they literally have just kind of seem to have just gone. Overwatch.
For many of them, it was Overwatch. I think a couple others shifted here and there, but yeah, I think. For a lot of the artists, it was a job.
Yeah,
we've talked about this at length before, but for them, it was a job, and this was kind of like, okay, you don't need to do this job anymore. Go off and take this free time.
Yeah, enjoy gaming
free
again.
Yeah. There's that.
Yeah. Right, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up this week's show. So if you haven't already done so, check out our DisKingdom gaming group, where we'll be discussing all bits and pieces of the video games on Facebook. Be sure to check out DisKingdom.com. I also want to be a big thank you to all of our patrons as well over at patreon.com/DisKingdom. Thank you for all your support. Helps covering like little things like just paying for the MP3 formats to be put up. So James, where can they find you over at vagabondpig.com?
I think that sounds correct to me. And then also at Twitter at IHI_James.
Yeah. So we're still needing to get you upgraded for your iHeart Infinity stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was one of those things that kind of popped up in one of our private chat channels. Not just you and me, but several other people are like, yeah, you need a new icon. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I do. I still have the iHeart Infinity. It's got the heart and the in, and so I think what was it? One of them recommended we're gonna break the heart and write it as out instead. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That might be a message I don't necessarily want to send, because no offense to anyone or whatever your lifestyles are, but that's not my lifestyle.
Yeah,
I liked your idea of something sleepy, I think it was.
Right, on that bombshell, we will be back with another episode in a couple of weeks. If you're listening to the audio version, you will probably see next week's and the week after podcasts up. So listen to me at your pleasure. You'll have them a little bit earlier than people watching on the YouTube versions, just due to how the system works. I want to make sure you've kind of got all your week's content. So we will be back in a couple of weeks with some brand new news, where you've got 2 new episodes waiting for you over the next 2 weeks as well. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you guys soon. Later.